I really loved her. I really just wanted for her to be happy, to just go home and get...
Anyway, I started blasting. Bah! Wow. Bah!
This episode starts with a girl I've never seen before. She's floating around in what looks like an underwater space. Then her eyes open up and, hold on a minute. I think what's happening here is they're showing me scenes from previous episodes. Because if that's not the case, well, this sequence was extremely difficult to follow. By the way, I'm watching Jujutsu Kaisen in a completely random order, and this is the episode that people requested me to watch next. So if you're as confused as I am, well, just sit back and enjoy the ride. I have so many things I already want to say, right from the beginning. First of all, when I was taking screenshots, I noticed just how amazingly beautiful so many of these scenes look. Okay, so here, check this out. This is the cool guy with sunglasses, who I remember from Season 1, Episode 12. And over here, I was really excited when I noticed this, because the subs didn't actually say his name, but I was listening closely to the audio, and I'm like 95% sure that the other woman called him Geto-Sama. Yeah, this is Geto-Sama. I'm like pretty sure this has to be him. You have no idea how happy it made me when I figured that out all on my own. Okay, so their friend has been kidnapped, and they took this other girl for a hostage exchange, but it seems like she's kinda also their friend, so I'm not sure if she came along voluntarily, but the mission now is supposed to be dangerous and scary. But then they just go and hang out at the beach. I wonder if they're going to the same beach as Mahito and the flower guy. The opening credits start, and oh man, I have to tell you this. I really loved the opening this time. I've watched 4 episodes of Jujutsu Kaisen, and each one had a different opening. This is probably my favorite of the OPs so far. The music was good, but the animation really got me hyped. I usually make sure to avoid cursing when I write my scripts, but I almost had to let one go this time. By the way, this OP makes it seem like the cool glasses dude and Geto-Sama are the main characters of the show. So... I don't know if this episode is really special in some way, or if the series just changes the main character like every story arc or something like that. That would explain a lot, honestly, but I'm probably just stupid and wrong, like always. I was wondering why people almost unanimously voted for this episode, and supposedly the reason I kept seeing is because I would be really confused. Well, you all got your wish. There's an entire conversation on the beach between these two characters, and the only thing I understood of the whole scene is that she is the person who was kidnapped, and they already rescued her in like 3 seconds. Also, the cool dude's name is Satoru. I also learned that. They traveled here by plane to make the hostage exchange, but then the glasses dude, he just kicked some guy in the face, and I think there's a reason that they wanted the other girl. It was either to start or stop some kind of ritual. I just don't know. Let's move on. Ah, great. More new characters. At least this time their names are being shown on the screen. Wait, hold up. This guy is Nanami Kento. Is he related to the other Nanami-san? Well, him and Haibara are here to protect the airport so it doesn't get taken over, but later in the episode they don't really do anything on screen. I thought it was funny though. They talked about how the older students... Oh, by the way, there is definitely a school and teacher theme that I have picked up on, and it only took me 4 episodes, right? Anyway, the other students are supposedly working so hard to save the girl, right? But then it shows Satoru, and he's basically just screwing around, having fun. It turns out her name is Riko, and I think the girl they saved is Kuroi. It might be the opposite. If you're watching this, please, for the next poll, don't vote for an episode that has 8 new characters. Please. Apparently, there aren't any dangerous enemies in this part of the world, so they decide to stay and hang out for a bit longer, even though this seems to make the other Nanami-san a little bit angry. After this, we're treated to a wonderful scene, with beautiful visuals and great music. If you don't know this about me, the piano is my favorite instrument, and I enjoyed this a lot. I'm not sure why they were just hanging out, going on dates, visiting the aquarium, but well, I'm not sure if there's a great way to say this, but I kinda wish these guys would come and kidnap me too. Or wait, didn't they rescued her, but then they kidnapped the other girl before that, and I can't figure it out, so let's just watch the next scene. It was nice, okay? But I could tell something was up. I mean, just look at this exit sign. It's so ominous and symbolic, and things have been way too calm, way too peaceful so far. No, I don't trust this. Something's going on here. Well, they come back to this place and declare that the mission has been completed. Everyone is safe, and they're inside of the protective barrier of their school. Satoru, I think he seemed a little bit upset that the fun times were over, and he started acting pretty tsundere about it. Well, have I got some bad news for you, cool dude. The Perfect Maki-san is actually here, and he must really hate tsundere, because he just stabs Satoru in the back without any warning. Now Geto-Sama's all freaked out. Everyone's eyes are, getting bigger, because Maki, he shouldn't even be able to get into this barrier. And by the way, this guy has got to be insanely fast, because nobody even noticed him coming until it was too late. But, honestly, Satoru just looks at him pretty casually. He doesn't seem too concerned about the sword sticking through him right now. Okay, so I don't know if this guy is a ghost or something else, but in the flashback, he went to see Satoru when he was just a little kid. Maki said that he did this because Satoru is a Goro clan member with 6 eyes. I'm just gonna file that information away, somewhere else. And apparently, he really hated the fact that Satoru was able to see him. So he just followed him around for 10 years. He waited for a bunch of stressful things to happen, for Satoru to run out of energy. Maybe he caused that himself. It was only shown for a few seconds, so I'm not sure. But then, finally, when Satoru is tired, he jumps out and stabs him in the back. Okay, 2 things. First of all, this is the same thing that Bane does to Batman in Nightfall, and if you've read it, you know. Secondly, this might just be my opinion, but I think if a kid looks at you, the correct response is probably not to hold a grudge against them for 10 years. Well, in this case, it's fine, because Satoru apparently did something to make the sword not hurt him. I could try to explain it. He tried to explain it, but, it's easier if I just say it was magic. Cursed magic, or whatever they call it. The glasses dude is finally about to fight, so I'm pretty excited. Now, let's see what he can do. This battle ended up being really insane. On top of the good animation, I like the pacing and the direction as well. But remember when I said before it was really hard to take screenshots of Sukuna because he was so fast? Maki is on another level, I swear. The animators just collectively agreed not to even draw him. He's so fast, he outsped the illustrators for the keyframes. It was nuts. Maki apparently has no cursed energy of his own, which should make it impossible to sense him. But because he had that cursed spirit wrapped around him, Satoru uses this to his advantage because he could sense the cursed spirit. But then things just started to go off. It was like a rapid-fire match of anime battle chess. Satoru realizes the surrounding cover is a problem, right? So he uses his power to destroy it, and this should prevent any sneak attacks. But then, the enemy sends a bunch of creatures with cursed energy into the empty space, and that will mess with Satoru's ability to sense him, because there's all this cursed energy around him. I thought Maki must have had a genius battle IQ or something, because he seems to predict everything that Satoru is going to do. Honestly, since even before the fight started. Now of course, Satoru thinks Maki is going to use this advantage to run off and go chase the girl. But as soon as he drops his guard and starts worrying about her, Maki just teleports behind him. And honestly, there's no other way to describe this. I'm not even using hyperbole here. Maki starts tearing this guy to pieces. I mean, he's actually ripping him apart. I don't even know how much of this I can show in the video. But man, the cool dude with shades, Satoru, he's down. I don't even know how he could possibly survive this, but it is anime after all. I'm not going to consider him dead until we get some sad flashbacks about it. The rest of the team made it to this elevator, and everyone rides down together. Now, before Geto-Sama and Riko head into the tunnel, Riko stops to say goodbye to Kuroi. They start hugging and keep talking about how much they love each other while they're crying too. I don't know if they meant that as friends or something else, but in the end, Riko has no choice but to go forward. I have a really hard time understanding the things that Geto-Sama talks about, but I think in this scene, they went to a place where all of the different barriers are converging, and you can use this location to travel from one place to another. Finally, the plot of the episode is actually revealed to me. Their mission that they were given is to bring Riko here to Tengen-sama, and Tengen-sama is going to assimilate her. When that happens, she'll basically be gone for good. Now, they were given some vague encouragement by their teacher, which suggests that they could go against this mission, and it seems like Geto-Sama and Satoru had talked about it already, because they agreed ahead of time. If Riko doesn't want to do it, they're not going to force her. And honestly, All of the time they spent together in these last few days, it actually seems like they were trying to encourage her and make her want to live. In her own flashbacks and her internal monologue, we see the underwater motif again, and the aquarium. She talks about her life, her childhood, her relationships with her parents and her peers, the expectations that were put onto her, and she says that if she was going to be assimilated, she would accept that. That's how she always felt in the past. But because of the bonds that she's formed, she decided that she doesn't want to be assimilated. She really wants to live. And in that sense, Satoru and Geto-Sama achieved their real mission, which was to save Riko rather than turning her over to Tengen-sama and show her the beauty of life. Geto-sama smiles. He's reaching out his hand to bring her back to safety. And then Maki just shoots her in the head. Ugh, yeah. This one hurt. This was a bit different from Junpei, where I didn't know him very well, and I didn't fully understand what was going on. In this case, they did a really great job of making me care about Riko, even in the span of just one episode. I really loved her. I really just wanted for her to be happy, to just go home and get everything it is that she wants, for nothing bad to happen to her, ever again. And then they just shot her in the head. So Geto-sama is pretty angry about this, right? He starts summoning a bunch of cursed spirits, and Maki tells him that Satoru is dead, and this makes him even more angry. But I won't get to see the results of this battle for quite some time, will I? I have to say something now, because I realized it at the very end, but there is a moment in the ending credits that really gave it away for me, and I can't believe it was this small detail of all things. So, right here. Yeah. Remember when the school nurse was talking about how she wanted to quit smoking? And she used to do it when she was a student, right? This is her. And there was a guy in this episode, also named Nanami, right? So, I'm starting to wonder if this episode, or maybe this story arc, takes place in the past. Because that would explain why this student is basically the school nurse, but she's younger, and why there was a younger dude named Nanami, and why these two also know each other in the future, right? I feel like if I'm wrong about this, it's almost hilariously off base. But if I'm right, it's almost a little disappointing that I actually figured it out, isn't it? Especially using these minor clues that have nothing to do with the episode's plot. I just noticed, something in the ending. But either way, there was still a lot going on here that I didn't understand, so it was still fun. It was really cool to see Maki in action. He's crazy strong, no matter what. And somehow I was still surprised at how the battle turned out. I already talked about how much they made me love Riko, so I really hope that this was all one big fake out. Riko and Satoru and everyone is okay. They're all living somewhere in peace, I don't know, just go collect the Dragon Balls and make a wish, and everything goes back to how it was. Is this that kind of show? Can the school nurse still heal them? I don't know. I'm coping so hard right now. But I will say, I still really loved this episode. It made me feel a lot, and it was very visually pleasing. I even paused near the beginning and started working on my script right away, because I was just overwhelmed by how appealing this episode was, truly. For the next one, I want to do something different. I'd actually like to watch 2 episodes and see how that goes. I'm going to make another poll to see which 2 episodes people want me to watch, and I'll add anything that's requested in the comments here. But for now, enjoy the rest of your day.